welcome Team D. So Team D will run us through the presentation.
We're here to present to you KCB, that is Kenya Commercial Bank, a bank with its primary exchange in the NSE. My colleagues Mark, Calvin, Michelle, Karoney, and myself, Francis. Welcome. We'd like to start our analysis with a buy recommendation, but first a few tidbits on KCB. It's the largest financial services group in Eastern Africa by asset base, with assets worth 567 billion Kenya shillings. Looking forward at their 2016 financial year statements, PBT went up by 19% the Kenyan business, as well as 14% for the group. With this, we give a buy recommendation. This is based on a 49.97 upside from our current price of 29.5 Kenya shillings to a target price of 44.24 Kenya shillings. This is based on 5 value drivers. The 3 key drivers being the implementation of the mobile platform, consolidation of the international businesses, as well as implementation of the latest core banking system. The other 2 value drivers being attainment of Tier 2 capital, as well as strategic partnerships. Now, moving forward, looking at the digital platform, KCB's total customer base, 75% of it is made up on mobile, with loans disbursed going up from 8.5 billion in 2015 to 14 billion in 2016. We expect this to continue to drive the non-funded income in the future. Now, moving forward to the core banking system. Right now, KCB is on the R14 version of the T24 core banking system. This is up from the R8 version. What this has done is that it's increased mean time between failures, improved cost efficiency, and reduced threat of cyber attacks, especially in the prevalent times where cyber attacks are very prevalent in the market. Now, looking at their international businesses, KCB invested an additional 1.392 billion in their subsidiaries, most notably KCB Uganda, as well as KCB Tanzania. What we expect this to do is to mitigate against the rising political uncertainty in Kenya, as well as the interest rate caps. We also expect this to drive their profit margins. I'd like to introduce Mark to come take us through the business description. Thank you.
So for KCB's business description, as you can see, KCB has subsidiaries in Tanzania, South Sudan, Rwanda, Burundi, and when you look at the percentage total assets as of Q3 2016, KCB has 82% of its total assets in Kenyan investments and 18% in the other countries. KCB has a total equity of 81 million Kenya shillings and is listed on the Nairobi Stock Exchange, Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange, Uganda Stock Exchange. It trades over the counter in Rwanda. Currently, it has 233 branches and 7,500 plus employees. KCB has strong, resilient management made up of 9 non-executive and 2 executive members, the CEO and the CFO. Currently, its company strategy enables us to support our buy recommendation through its customer experience. It has a customer base, a large customer base of over 10.1 million subscribers, business efficiency through cost minimization programs that have led to increased operational efficiency, a robust digital platform. We've seen, e.g. the T24 system, which has been able to be upgraded from the R8 to the R14 system, hence minimizing costs and improving operational efficiencies. Its investments in its international businesses, growing NFI, sustainable business practices and partnerships, e.g. with Safaricom, which owns 65% of the market share through KCB M-Pesa, and risk management, which has seen a reduction in the depositors' risk exposure. Hence, the company is able to subsume a large amount of the losses that it would incur. I'd like to invite Calvin to take us through the industry overview.
Thank you, Mark. To begin our industry overview, we look at the macroeconomy generally. The GDP growth rate in the past 6 years in the East African region has been well above the world's average, despite 2012. When you look at the inflation rate, it has been below 10% in the East African countries, with the exception of South Sudan as an outlier. And when it comes to inflation rate, it is important because low inflation rate than deposit rate offered by banks means that there is less capital erosion. Looking at the interest rate environment of Kenya in the past 16 years, we have witnessed stability with notable peaks during the financial crisis of 2008-2009. When it comes to market share, KCB holds the largest at 13.1%, followed by CBA, Cooperative Bank, and Equity Bank. And this market share is in relation to market share index. When we look at net interest margins, they rose to 9.2% in the previous year, from 7.7% in 2015. Mainly driven by sectoral growth drivers, which are vibrant economy and technological advancement. There have been various developments, with the most notable ones being the Banking Amendment Act in Kenya, adaptation of IFRS 9, and internal capital adequacy assessment process. A SWOT analysis of the bank reveals that a key strength is that it has a robust digital platform. Its main weakness is the low quality of customer service as compared to lower tier banks. Opportunities exist through strong macroeconomic fundamentals in the East African region, and the main threat would be the interest rate cap that was implemented last year. An analysis of the industry reveals that the supplier power and threat of new entry is fairly low, with the buyer power, competitive rivalry, and threat of substitution being high. The bank has positioned itself competitively through innovative products such as KCB M-Pesa and the KCB app, as well as diversification into KCB Insurance and KCB Capital. Over to Michelle to take us through financial analysis.
Our financial analysis of KCB focuses on three main things: KCB's profitability, its operational efficiency, and its liquidity. We expect to see strong growth of non-funded income, which will primarily be driven by increased customer migration to both its mobile and online banking platforms. As a result, we expect resilient profitability, despite a slight decrease in ROE as a result of the impact of the interest rate cap. We expect the ROE to increase further into our focus period. We also anticipate that asset quality will increase during the period as a result of the decreased interest rates, which are likely to decrease the burden of repayment on its borrowers. Also, we expect to see steady asset growth driven by an increase in loans to both the banks and financial institutions as well as to its customers. Consequently, we expect to see healthy share returns driven primarily by an increase in earnings per share as well as dividends per share as the net income of KCB increases. Under operational efficiency, as discussed earlier, KCB's heavy investment in its core banking system is expected to decrease its costs, historically recording decrease in costs of up to 48%. Our operating expenses to operating income, as per our forecast, are expected to reach 36% by 2021. Under liquidity, we expect KCB to remain sufficiently capitalized after successfully raising Tier 2 capital, hence ensuring it is well placed to adopt the IFRS 9, which is to take effect as of January 2018. In summary of our financial analysis, we conducted a DUPO ROE, which reveals a stable ROE through the period. I would now like to invite Francis to take us through valuation.
For valuation, we conducted absolute valuation as well as relative valuation. This was to measure the true accounts of the business as well as reflect market settlements. Looking at the dividend discount model, we used a payout ratio of 30%. This combined with a risk-free rate of 14.3%, a bit of 1.35, and a risk premium of 6.4, we obtained a cost of capital of 22.93%. Further, with a terminal growth rate of 7%, we obtained a target price of 40.66 as of 2017. Moving forward with relatives valuation, we used 6-year averages of the banks listed in the NSE, using an applicable multiple of 8.31 for the PE ratio as well as a 1.29 ratio for the PBV. We obtained a price as per PE of 46.44 and a price as per PBV of 45.64. Now, giving an equal weighting to all three, we obtained a target price of 44.24, giving us the relevant upside. Further, a sensitivity analysis of the same with a cost of capital, with our two main factors rather, being cost of capital and terminal growth rate, we obtained a 25th percentile price of 34.29 and a 75th percentile of 51.45 Kenya shilling. Still an upside from our current price. Now, our analysis of KCB will be incomplete without our risk analysis. For that, I invite Karoney.
We analyze KCB's risk profile on two main fronts. That is likelihood of occurrence as well as impact on profitability. From this matrix, as you can see, 4 main risks stood out. That is fraud and data manipulation, the Banking Amendment Act that introduced an interest rate cap, as well as the deposit rate floor, Kenya's election, and South Sudan political instability. Some of the mitigation strategies the bank has towards this includes growing NFI as well as intensive screening to prevent adverse selection to mitigate against the interest rate cap. Fraud and data manipulation is mitigated against by heavy investment in securing the digital platform. South Sudan political instability is mitigated against by working with mainly UN, non-governmental organizations, as well as other international government organizations. Kenya's election is mitigated against by growing and consolidating international businesses. Therefore, we would like to emphasize our buy recommendation with a 6 months target price of 44.24 shillings, which is a 49.5% 49.97 upside from our current price of 29.50 shillings. Thank you.
What are the peer comparables you use to get your average PE and PB? And then kind of tying that in with, you're saying a 50% upside on the stock.
Yes.
What's going to drive that? Is it earnings or is it a rating? Will the price to book, the PE increase? Which of those two is it? And, with a 50% upside from where the market is, you've heard of efficient market hypothesis,
Yes.
where the current price represents everything. What is it that you know that the rest of the market doesn't know?
We used 6-year averages of the banks listed, the tier 1 banks rather. Also, one reason we did this was because we noticed that in the current period, currently when we were doing this analysis, KCB was trading at about 24.75, I think, and currently it was undervalued. So we felt that in our current period, using it gave us a PBV ratio rather of 0.81. So we felt it was undervalued as yet. So we used a 6-year average to.
Why do you think it was undervalued?
Because it's trading at a PBV of 0.81. Price to book value, yes?
Yeah. Anyway, the point of driving towards is the price has come down significantly, possibly because of the interest rate caps.
Yes.
Is it fair to value a company based on the past, or you're trying to understand where the future is, and then more, I guess, value based on what the current multiples are and the multiples you expect in the future?
Yes. Okay. So I feel like we feel like rather that an average is better than using the current situation because it gives a sort of bias, right? So with actually to fix for that undervaluement, KCB's mobile platform was valued at 218 billion in 2014. This went up to 332 billion in 2016. So we expect that with the increasing mobile penetration in Kenya, that the value of the company will still continue to improve as per our value drivers. Secondly, consolidation of international businesses. Right now, KCB keeps investing additional capital into those businesses. As per 2015 rather, they had invested a total of 12 billion in their international businesses. We expect this to continue increasing, and when these subsidiaries start paying off, right? When the income comes in generated, we expect the price to go up. Right now, KCB closed at 31.25 yesterday. Our target price is 44. We still feel that it's not a ridiculous upside, if I should put it that way. But
fair enough. And then the last question on what do you know that the rest of the market doesn't know?
What do we know that the rest of the market doesn't know? Well, I don't think, it's very hard to have an analysis that is more superior than others. However, the market is mispricing the interest rate cap, KCB's stock, as a result of overreaction. It is just an overreaction from the interest rate cap, and the banking sector in Kenya is influenced by foreign investor sentiment a lot. So it is an overreaction that we expect to go back to its fundamental price within the next few months.
A good point, thank you.
You mentioned that there's strong management in this business. Why do you think so?
We mentioned that KCB has strong management, and we've seen this through the management's interaction in trying to drive the profitability of the firm. Recently, the management, from as early as 2014, the management made a decision to put in new programs such as the bank assurance that was able to drive up profits by, it was about 268% from 2013 to 2014, which was an election year. And we could see such management decisions enabled KCB to perform during a period which was rather turbulent for banking sectors around that period. So also when it comes to how it treats its management, how it treats its employees, we've seen KCB being awarded several awards and the likes based on how it's handling its staff and the staff quality, and also how it's been able to manage issues such as adverse selection when giving out loans and the likes. Hence, we've been able to come up that KCB has very strong, able management that is able to steer the company to great profitability.
You talked about cost to revenue coming down in the future. Have you done an analysis of how they've been managing that in the past, historically, for the past few years?
Okay, yes, we already did an analysis of that, and for this, we were able to use previous investor reports and results that the bank was able to issue, and we've been able to see it's been able to manage its costs through, e.g., the T24, the upgrading of the T24 system from the R8 to the R14 version, which improved cost efficiency by reducing costs by about 48% and improving the efficiency of the T24 system, which it uses as its core banking system, by 99%, hence increasing the amount of mean time between failures of bank transactions. So bank transactions tend to be costly. As well, KCB has been able to start making income from the transaction cost it charges through mobile platforms, and it's been able to reach out into different sectors, into e.g. lower income groups through agricultural, being able to, they started an initiative whereby they were able to go and talk to, they try to help farmers to undertake agriculture, and by doing that they're able to give them soft loans which are on M-Pesa or through partnership with Strathmore, which is the largest shareholder, the largest market holder in the telecommunication sector, hence helping to improve their own profitability.
And you think they'll keep on doing that in the future? Is that how they will be managing the cost?
We think that the management of the costs of KCB will occur through continuous innovation in its products, and also reaching out into international businesses and its subsidiaries. Instead of, because if I give the example of the Kenyan market has been seen to, there's been a shock whereby it's declined slightly because of the interest rate cap, and that has reduced the public lending that's there. Therefore, KCB is continually making efforts to invest in its international businesses, while at the same time undertaking strategic partnerships and trying to enhance its bank assurance policies to try and make sure that it remains profitable at the same time. And we think that will drive profitability in the future as well.
To add on that, KCB currently employs year on year an additional 400 to 500 people with personnel. So in the 2017 going forward, Joshua Waigara said that they will probably not hire more people. In addition to that, they retrenched about 100 people in this year, one or two. So that in combination with the increased non-fund income as well as net interest margins will bring down the cost to income ratio collectively. As well as when the consolidated subsidiaries start bringing income, we expect that collectively the cost to income ratios will start going down.
Okay, my last one is about, it's just a clarification. If you can explain the valuation again, how you got, the three methods that you had.
So this,
how you got your price, so the weighting.
So currently we noticed that KCB, the dividend payout ratio has been going down. In 2010, the payout ratio was about 50%. This has been going down all the way to 31% in 2015. So we felt that giving DGM a higher weighting would be undervaluing the business, because they are reinvesting most of their money back into the business to compensate for their consolidation of international businesses, as well as implement costs such as the T24 system. Finally, we felt that, as my colleague said, this sector is heavily influenced by foreign sentiments, and actually 20% of KCB's shares is held by foreign investors. So market segments do play a huge role in the pricing of the pricing of KCB. So we gave an equal weighting to PBV, PE, as well as DDM.
And why not give more weighting to PBV?
PBV?
Compared to others, it's a balance sheet business. It's a balance sheet based business.
Yes.
So why not give it more weighting? I'm trying to understand why you get equal weighting.
Equal weighting. Yeah. Collectively, we give the multiples valuation more weighting than the absolute valuation. So first we give them, we give the multiples more valuation. Then of those two, we give half and half.
I just wanted to ask, in terms of digitization, you put quite a bit of emphasis on digitization, but what aspect is it? How is it helping KCB's value? Just wanted to get.
Digitization here refers to mobile banking and internet banking mainly. When it comes to mobile banking, there's the KCB banking, which is an account that can only be accessed through the KCB app. Now, when we look at the presentation released yesterday by KCB, we actually see that 53% of the transactions occur on mobile, and there was a significant contribution of mobile loans to total loans, with the total with 90% of loans being transacted through the mobile platform.
In addition to that, the digitization is expected to increase the fees and commissions charged by increasing the transaction fees that KCB receives as a result, hence growing the non-funded incomes.
And also to add on in support of what they're saying, we are seeing the emergence of an increased youthful population who are able to use mobile apps and all the likes to be able to transact. Hence, the use of mobile money in the population is also growing as more technological advancements keep coming through. And as such, and even the initiatives that KCB has made by being able to reach out to lower income brackets who get, for instance, the farmers who get most of their loans, soft loans on M-Pesa and such platforms, it helps them to increase their customer base. And increasing their customer base will increase the number of mobile money transactions that will later increase their asset base, hence leading to an improvement in their overall financial outlook.
I'm looking at KCB over the last 5 years, just doing analysis, 3 to 5 years. They've been in a market that has had less regulation, less everything, and yet their ROE has been declining over that period, right? Then they've entered into a market that's significantly more regulated, a lot of changes in terms of the accounting policies. Within the same management team that has been able to bring down the costs to what it is now, when you looked at your depot analysis, you had the largest driver to your ROE growth being net margin increment. So what's going to be the key driver of that net margin increment that has not been there in the past?
The depot ROE is first of all expected to remain stable. Now, the equity multiplier will be decreasing because the bank actually wanted to issue out new rights, but it postponed it. So going forward, we are looking at it issuing that extra equity to, of course, support their leverage, to help them become better leverage. So that's why the equity multiplier is reducing. When it comes to net margin, this mainly boils down to how they will be able to improve their operational efficiency, thus reducing their costs and boosting their income.
What exactly are they going to reduce their costs?
To reduce the costs, I think my colleagues mentioned some, but I'm going to add on one, which going forward, we are looking at them exiting from the South Sudan, which is really contributing a lot of expenses on the balance sheet. So that is one.
At the same time, we have going digital, let's say that. So with this, it makes the need of actual mobile, banking halls is no longer necessary. You can do transactions over the phone and all this. This is reducing costs at the same time increasing fees because mobile platforms are actually quite expensive in Kenya.
On KCB as an investment, my first question is spoke about a 6-month target price of I think 44. Explain to me that concept. My understanding of valuation is that your valuation as of today is that you feel KCB should be at 44, and that the price is what is trading at the market today. So what do you mean by 6 months time? Because as an investor, my worry is that in 6 months time, it's right after the election, and I live in Kenya.
Allow me to talk about your last point first. It's right after elections and you live in Kenya. The thing is, we are hopeful that this is going to be a peaceful election. Secondly, if you analyze KCB's historical performance, especially during election years, you will realize that they've actually been doing better than they did during other years.
In 2013, I'll use the example of 2013, we were able to see KCB have an increase in its international businesses from 0.6 billion in quarter one of 2013 to 0.7 billion in quarter one of 2014. The election was held in March of 2013. So that then we were able to see its cost income ratio decreasing from 57.6% in quarter one 2013 to about 49.2% in quarter one 2014, meaning they were able to manage their costs much efficiently. And one thing that also happened within that year is that they were able to introduce the bank assurance policies that were able to cause such drops in that were able to improve their operational efficiency by reaching out through insurance agencies, hence leading to reduction of costs and maximization of profits because they adopted such kind of a strategy to lead them to profitability. So KCB has, in election years, has actually been performing better than most industry participants in that sector.
That performance talks about KCB as a company. How about KCB as a price, share price? For me as an investor, that's my only access.
We noticed that the share prices did go up as a result of the measures my colleague mentioned, but that's about it. That's all I can tell you. The prices did go up.
All right. My two last questions still on KCB as an investment. If you go back to my colleague had alluded to the sensitivity analysis.
Yes.
So it's two questions in one. Essentially, you've projected that your ROE is growing over time. If you look at your terminal growth rate, it appears that the faster KCB grows, the more value it destroys for me as an investor. That would imply that then the return on equity should be lower than the cost of capital. So I think that more as a comment would be to check on the sensitivity. It's a bit counterintuitive. I think that's what he was alluding to. My question on the GDP growth, your terminal growth rate was, I think, 7%. And from your GDP slides, I think if you were to assume the economy of East African markets staying at about 4%, what effectively you're telling me is that in about 200 years, KCB will be larger than the economy of Kenya. Would that be the case?
Okay, you see, we are looking at a spectrum, and we do not expect KCB to continue growing indefinitely into the future. 7% was actually arrived at by taking historical growth rates of 13%. We actually deducted the inflation rate of 6% to arrive at the figure 7%.
And remember there it talks about a terminal growth rate. That's into perpetuity. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we do realize that, but let's take KCB's major business, that is Kenya. It takes 62.5% of our GDP is accounted for from the service sector. Financial sector is actually part of it. So this means in this industry there must be companies that are outliers that enable the GDP to actually to rise and to come to that point. So I actually think, yes, it can grow faster than the GDP growth rate, however, not into perpetuity. That is an area we look at.
And on top of that, Karoney did give them a Kamau's rating of 1.95, which means that they are slightly outperforming the general market. So the GDP is at 6.5%. A terminal growth rate of 7% is not that far to the spectrum.
Thank you, judges, for the questions. Thank you, Team D, for the presentation. We'll give them a round of applause.